Helps. Should just say peas and carrots. Peas and carrots. Normal background.
Yeah. Make sure your sound is muted. Good morning, everyone. I see people are logging in. We're just giving everyone a couple of minutes to find the links to our video, and we will get started. Let's just give it one more minute. As you're logging into the video, if you want, please go ahead and say hello in the chat box and tell us where you're from. We'd love to hear who we're talking to. We're just going to sit tight for another minute or two. Make sure that people are finding us this morning. It's okay, Robert. It's okay. All right. Oh, hi, Phyllis from Arlington. Got College Station.
Azel.
Azel.
Outside Dallas.
Fort Worth.
Look at, yeah, they're
That's
helping.
my guess. Outside Dallas for any town I haven't heard of.
Hi, Scott. How's it going? Nice to see you. San Antonio, Duncanville. Wow, we've got people from all over the state. That's so great to have everyone join us this morning. Gainesville.
Is that outside
Gainesville?
Dallas?
Gainesville, Dallas area.
Gainesville, where exactly is that by? We should know, but just in case, let us know. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people have joined us already. So like I said, when we first got started, if you're just joining us, and please just say hello and tell us where you're at so we kind of know who we're talking to. We like to know who we're speaking with. So, and thanks so much for taking the time to join us this morning. My name is Christine Anderson. I'm the Public Affairs and Communications Manager for the Real Estate Commission and the Appraiser Board. And I am very lucky to be joined this morning by two excellent directors. I have Denise Sample, Director of Licensing and Registration Services, and Robert Hood, Director of Reception and Communication Services, here with us this morning. So we are so lucky to have them join us, as they are extraordinarily busy people, but they've taken some time out of their mornings to kind of give us all an update and break down our recent customer service update that we posted on our website. If you hadn't had a chance to read the article, I linked to the article in the event page, and I'll link to it again over here on the chat box as we get started so that you can refer to it later if you haven't seen it. But just to give a little bit of a really brief overview of where we're coming from and where we're going for today's event. About a year ago, we started the two processes, one the sunset review process, as well as an internal audit that we received some great feedback on. And one of the biggest issues that we saw reflected in the feedback on those two projects were customer service and things that we needed to address. And so today, what we're going to do is kind of highlight everything that we've addressed, what our current status is, and what you can expect for the future from the agency. We hope that you guys have noticed a great improvement in some of these things. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, today's the day to kind of ask the two very important people that would probably be able to answer that. So I'm going to hand it over to Robert and Denise to get started. And again, if you have questions throughout their presentation or discussion, we want y'all to interact with us and make comments and questions. So please put them in the chat box. I'll be monitoring them as we go. And yeah, so thanks so much. And by the way, just in case you didn't see, we have Bob Leonard, our Commissioner Bob Leonard, here today this morning to join us. So thanks so much for joining us, Commissioner. We're excited to have you. And I haven't seen anyone else, or any of the other commissioner board members, but if you join, just say hello so that we know you're here. Okay, so rolling it over to you guys.
All
How
right.
you doing this morning?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Good,
All
good.
right. Well, thank you, Christine. My name is Robert Hood. I'm the Director of the Reception and Communication Services Division. And as Christine mentioned, that our number one priority is customer service. And we're trying to do everything possible we can to make sure that your experience with our office is a great one. And we do appreciate your feedback. So if you have any questions, concerns, or you would like to give us any feedback, feel free to go to our website, and you can go to our search for the customer satisfaction survey, and you can give us a report card on the level of service that you did receive from us.
You look at that almost every day.
We look at that on a daily basis,
Yeah.
and we share all the information with our staff. So everyone knows about all of our good compliments, as well as the things that we need to work on as well.
And just in case anyone watching didn't know, Robert fairly recently joined us
Yes.
at the agency. You've been here about 6 months?
About 9 months now.
Oh, wow.
Almost 9 months.
Time
yes.
flies.
Time flies,
Huh?
yes.
So Robert's been hard at work at some of these key transition pieces and improvements that we've seen at the agency. So he's definitely the guy to talk to today.
Yeah. All right, so I will go over some of the things that we've done in the past year to help us improve our customer service. One of the main things we did was we added some additional staff to our contact center. We almost doubled the number of staff that we have in the contact center. In order to complement the great staff that we already had here, we hired 10 experienced contact center staff. They had experience in other state agencies, as well as agencies where they were licensing or supporting a licensing section. So we added 10 great staff to our team. We trained that staff over about a 4 to 6 week period, and we made sure that they learned everything about the agency. Every license that we issue, we made sure that they had all the knowledge about that license. So when you do call in, they were able to answer all your questions.
And they're all on the phones now. Right?
Yes, all 10 of these staff are trained and are on the phones now, and they made a huge impact to our level of service and our response time. We really appreciate them.
Yeah, and we were able to do that so quickly because of our SDSI status, which
That is
is
correct.
important to kind of note here at the agency. We are a self-directed semi-independent agency, so we did not have to wait for the legislature to approve a bunch of new employees. We were able to see the issues that were raised in these reports and say, yep, we need to go ahead and hire these people, and they did, and Robert got them on the phones right away and quickly,
Yes.
and they're doing great.
They're doing very good. Another one of the things that we did was we wanted to make sure that we utilize every part of our contact center technology. We used we implemented a call routing system where we identified 4 to 5 different queues. Or when you call in, you can tell us specifically what you're requesting. That way, your question will be routed to the person or the personnel that is, very knowledgeable about that subject, and be able to get your answer in a very timely manner.
Culture is a godsend.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we added our courtesy callback. So if there is a hold time when you call or you're calling us, you're able to leave your name and your number, and you still have your place in line. We'll give you a call back.
Yeah. So I hope some of you guys have been able to experience those two features. That callback feature is so nice. You stay in line. Those were you would think they were really simple solutions, but they were big deals for us to be able to get them and implement them, and they've made a huge difference.
Yes, they have. Yes, and with that courtesy call, with the call queuing, we now have precision queuing where we're able to move our agents from one queue to the other in order to meet our demands. For instance, if everyone calls in asking about the status of their license or anything, we can move all our personnel to that one queue so we can handle those customers in a timely manner.
That's great. So if we have a bunch of questions at the end of the month on how do I renew my license,
yes.
you can adjust and respond to that now much more quickly and accurately than we had been able to before.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right, and then Director Sample will be able to speak to some of these things, but we wanted to make sure that our website provided us with some online service tools self-service tools that you'll be able to help yourself with, and you wouldn't have to call us. We want to eliminate the number of calls, the number of times you would have to call us. Some of those tools are in November. We launched our certified license history. In February, we launched our real estate application tracker. And then in April, we launched our online continuing education tools.
Yeah. So, and those are located kind of in a couple of different places throughout the website, which maybe we can point people to, direct them to them. But license holder search, which is all over the website. So if you haven't seen that, our license holder search is on the homepage. If you are somebody that's trying to renew their license, for example, and in the past, we used to get calls about this all the time. And when I'd go out and talk to people, we'd get, yeah, it's great that you guys have all of our education on the website, but we can't really tell which education counts for which license renewal period.
That's right. So now when you perform a license holder search and pull up the results of your license, if you're in your renewal period, you can click on, and I can't think of exactly what the button says, but
check your CE status, I think it is.
Or renewal education information, because not everyone is CE.
Oh, yeah.
Could be your first renewal as a sales agent will also reflect your sales apprentice education.
Yes.
And that's available through the license holder search results as well as the certified license history.
Yeah.
That's, just do a search. Anybody can search by name or license number and filter it many different ways and get the results there. And the application tracker, as a reminder, is just on the homepage.
Yeah.
You can do a search by name, I believe, and email address, and get the status of your initial sales agent license application, which is our highest volume, most common application type.
And none of these you have to log in to use, which is awesome.
No password needed. So a broker can check on any, 10 prospective sales agents that they've got waiting to sponsor. They can check on the status of their applications, or the individual can check on their own.
Yeah, you no longer have to take the sales agent's word for it that they've gotten the app in and it's our fault. You can look and see where the agent is in the process of their application and check that status, which is great. Anyone can check, it's all public information, which is easy for people to access. So we think these tools are huge helpers in Robert's job of, we used to get, anecdotally, how many calls would we get about my CE and the status of the application? Those were probably the biggest two.
I would say about 30% of our calls on a daily basis were just for those two items. So now people are able to go online and get that information for themselves.
Yeah. So it's important, especially for those attending today or listening later, you know that those tools exist and that they're easy to access and that you don't need a login, and that even if you're a broker of a bunch of agents, you can check on your agents too. So that's really helpful. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it?
Yes.
And so can you tell me, just kind of off the top of your head, what do you think, so from a year ago today to now, what is the biggest difference people might see when they contact us? Are the hold times better? Information more accurate?
The hold times, I guess, is the biggest thing you'll notice when you call in to us. Previously, I think, our average hold time was anywhere from about 10 minutes to 12 minutes. A whole time for about less than 3 minutes. And then this month.
Hold on. Internet went down. I think TALCP got on and they stretched our internet. Hold on. Don't talk. Shoot, this isn't long enough. Excuse my laptop over.
We are still on?
Okay, good. I was worried. It says it's reconnecting. Can you guys still hear us? Let us know. Sorry about that, guys. It's back. Melody says it's back. We're going to trust that it's back. Sorry about that, guys. I think
I was on Wi-Fi and should have been on our Ethernet, and I apologize. That's my mistake. Sorry, go ahead, Robert, and we'll just assume that everything's going okay. I'm so sorry I ruined your flow.
That's all right.
What were you talking about again?
What was I speaking on the? I completely forgot what I was talking
We
about.
will edit this out. And
Yes.
no, kidding.
It's live.
It's live, so never mind. But I guess what I was asking was like, what's the normal hold time these days?
That's right. All right. So what I was saying was, in the past, over a year ago, our average hold time was anywhere from about 10 to 12 minutes. Right now, the last 2 months, we've been maintaining a less than 3-minute hold time. And right now, for the month of August, we're hovering about 1 minute of hold time. And then our email response time, generally we are, required to respond within 2 business days. Sometimes we slipped over those 2 business days. Now, the majority of our emails, about 80% of our emails are handled within about 1 business day. So that's
incredible.
Yes.
That's a huge change.
Yes.
I mean, we used to have much different expectations, but we're kind of now meeting and exceeding, and hopefully going to continue to do that.
Yes.
So thank you for your team's hard work. That's awesome. So moving on kind of from expectations in the call center to Denise's realm of processing applications and timelines and things like that. Denise, what can you tell us about what we've done recently to help improve that, and then what kind of tools are accessible for our license holders to use?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with an overview of kind of what we do. So our division is responsible for all initial renewal applications for all the license types. And currently we're at over 200,000 total license holders in the state. And so any change of name, change of address, change of sponsorship, any of those kinds of requests come through and are processed by our division, by our team. And so we have a goal to provide a response to an initial submission of documents or request within 10 business days. That's been our goal, to provide some kind of response within that time frame, and then any documents that are requested by us to respond to those quicker. As far as not put people at the back of the line,
right?
Not at the end of the line if they're turning in something we've asked for.
So this is like proof of ownership for a business entity, or
right, proof of ownership or insurance, or on an inspector application, proof of insurance for that, or a background history form if an applicant has answered a sales agent application that's missing 1 course certificate, right? We'll send out a request for additional education documents. We do want to work towards improving that goal,
right?
And get that number to less than 10 business days. That is definitely the goal there. And we also focus during the last about 10 days to 2 weeks of the month, focus on renewal documents, renewal requests, renewal applications for licenses that expire at the end of that month, just to make sure we're not, generally it's processing documents in the order received, with the exception of the last week or so of the month where we definitely want to renew any licenses for individuals who've submitted documents. Our future plans and projects, Robert mentioned the application tracker. We definitely are working towards adding additional applications to the tracker.
License types, so
application types as well.
Yeah,
so an initial broker license, or eventually a change of designated broker. These are all things we have set as goals to add to that application tracker.
Right, because who can check the application tracker currently?
Well, right now it's only for initial sales agent applications, which is our most common application type.
Yeah.
And so we are working towards that goal to add more. On the appraiser board side, we have added initial appraiser applications to the tracker.
Cool.
That's correct, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting
It's not live yet.
It's not live yet?
We're working on finishing some of the finishing touches on that.
But
That's
that,
okay.
that one's coming. And we also want to add eventually other license types to the renewal education information page.
Right.
Since everybody that renews generally has to take some education.
Yep.
And let's see, what was the other one? The license history tool. Those are all examples of self-service tools that are going to be real-time reflections of what we're processing here in the office. And what we're trying to do is increase that transparency so that you guys don't have to engage with us, even though the hold times are lower now, just to eliminate the need to call us if at all possible. If we can provide that information online in a visual format.
But at the same time, so somebody calls the agency now and they have a question about their application. Now, instead of being put on hold, they can select an option on the call tree and get somebody in your division that can help answer that question. And Denise's team can respond quicker because of that and help assist everyone in making sure that the communications are clear, which is great.
It's great. And I think some of the online tools are for the general application, for the general processes.
Right.
And you still have the availability to call us for more detailed questions about your application.
Definitely.
Yes.
If something's not looking right, you know, if the tracker
hasn't updated
or, you know, our processing dates webpage that you can access, I believe, from the homepage. If we've gotten past that date, you submitted your documents before that, that's definitely a reason to reach out and contact us.
That processing dates page is actually located right underneath Contact Us on the agency information tab on our homepage. So if you're looking for, like, I submitted this app, why hasn't it been processed? You can look at the dates on that page and see where we're at in the process and see if we should have been working on your document by now. So that's a helpful tool as well.
Yeah. And some other exciting for us, I guess.
Exciting for us. It's very exciting.
Developments are, we're working very hard on a project that will allow any applicant who submits an application online to attach the supporting documents to the online application at the time they apply, instead of the current process of having to send us a separate email and attaching, you know, their course certificates or, you know, experience documents, anything like that. So we're hoping in the next several months to have that project completed. You know, there's a lot involved in it, but we're very excited to be working towards that, to give you guys an upload button.
And is there a timeline on that? like?
Not
guessing.
It's so much of that is out of, you know, my hands, but I know we're working towards it. We're meeting with all the technical people to get that, make sure we get that done right.
But it's imminent.
It is imminent. Yes, I would say that's a good way to describe it.
Within reasonable amount of time, it'll be up and working. So look out for that, and we'll update all of our letters and everything like that.
Oh, definitely. You guys will get a lot of messaging from the agency announcing. We'll be so excited to have a document upload feature. It will be a game changer. That's a good way to describe it. And we are also working towards creating a downloadable checklist for what's required based on you know, the different license types. So kind of to mirror what's listed on the website, but this would be a nice little guide for you to kind of mark through all the things that, you know, an applicant's going to need to do before submitting an application or, you know, before getting licensed. And that way we're just providing more information to the applicants to just improve that communication, improve their understanding of what they need from us. So it's not just, well, I think I sent everything. You know, we'll have a checklist that's available that should be helpful to those applicants that are kind of just trying to get into the industry or get into the field and maybe haven't engaged with us before, and maybe our website doesn't make as much sense, or it's not as easy for them if this is their first time interacting with us. So this checklist, we're hoping, will be a way to help ensure that application process goes as smooth as possible.
And there are, you know, so I have both of your ears. So are there any key ways that people listening, you guys want to make sure they know when they contact us, what they should have ready on their email, when they email us, like how they should address the email?
When they call us, should they have some sort of information ready to talk about? What are some of the key ways to make sure that we're facilitating more quickly their questions when they contact us?
One of the major things we're looking for when you call in is to get your license information. We want to be able to bring up your information and give you the best possible answer for your specific case. So all of our representatives are trained to ask for your license number right when you call us in. One of the first things they'll ask for is your license number. So even if you email us, it's very important for you to include that license number so we can look up your account.
Because there are a lot of Christine Andersons in the state
Exactly.
of Texas.
Your name helps, but the license number is a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also when you call us, first thing in the morning, we're not that busy. During our lunchtime, a lot of you are on your lunch as well. You want to give us a call, so you may experience a little bit of a longer hold time during our lunch times. But in the afternoons, we slow back down usually after 3 o'clock. So if you want to, check something off your list, I do it first thing in the morning. Give us a call.
Be productive in the morning.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And how about you, Denise?
No, Robert's team, they're the first point of contact. So they've done a great job of identifying who the person is who's calling us or sending us an email by the time, it's routed over to my department. But I would say, that's always a good rule of thumb. If you are an applicant and we're responding to you to ask for additional documents, we're going to provide you with your entity number. That's your unique number in our system of record before we've issued you a license number.
Okay.
So that is a very good identifier. If you've already engaged with us and we provided an entity number or TREC ID, I believe is what it's called as well, which you need to go get fingerprinted, you need to go sit for the exam. It's very helpful to include that number if you're not yet licensed in all of your communications with us.
Because I know, at least in my experience, we get a lot of my license has expired, and I'll go look up that person's name, and it's an individual license, and what they're referring to is their business entity license.
Correct, yes.
And so then I have to do the research to figure out that, and if they had given me the license number they were referring to that had expired, it would have allowed me to facilitate an answer or get them an answer quicker.
That's
So
right.
I think what I'm hearing is make sure you're specific in your question so that we can help make sure that you're getting the right answer the first time
That's right.
we respond to you.
Right.
Okay, so I am still showing that is the video still live or we're still good? It's a little okay. So so are there any other improvements to our online services that you guys wanted to cover today, or anything else on the website? Or
Yes, right now we're making some changes to the way that you log in or reset your login and password. So over the next few months, we'll probably be able to some of the calls that we're receiving right now are about how can I reset my login or how can I reset my password. So what we're trying to do is beef up our system so you're able to do that online yourself. And over the next couple of months, we'll be able to launch that.
so you can reset your password right now,
You
but
can reset your password, but
it's
if
a
you
little
change
wonky.
your email
Yeah.
or anything like that, you would have to call us in and we have to reset it for you. So we're trying to put some things in place now where you're able to do that on your own instead of having to call us.
Yeah, which is so helpful.
Yes.
You would think that a lot of our agents they'll move brokerages, and you
Yes.
only come to see us once every 2 years, and then by then you've forgotten that the email address that you signed up with doesn't work with you don't have access to that Coldwell Banker email address, and now you're with Remax. And so that's the key issue that Robert's addressing there is that will no longer be a factor, and that's hopefully coming very soon, right?
Yes.
And
About 3 weeks to a month or so.
3 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So look out for that. We will, of course, be notifying everyone of all of these improvements. So just to kind of wrap this up, we've come a long way in the last year,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I think our agency, our staff is incredible. And they were incredible even when when these first reports came out. I think we're just having a lot more clarity on how to improve, and we've been given the tools to be able to do so.
That's right.
So I think we're getting there. Our staff works really hard. They're here all hours of the day, working all sorts of stuff and problems. So I give kudos to everyone's staff. Robert and Denise represent a huge section of our 100 plus staff members here at the agency who work very hard every day to make sure that things are done professionally and accurately as quickly as possible. So these kinds of improvements, this drastic amount of improvement from a hold time of, your average hold time right now is about?
Right now, about 1 minute.
About 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call to the office right now, I know even anecdotally, when we went and did our last listening tour session, it was, I would get people saying 45 minutes, or they couldn't even get through on the phone because the phone lines were so full. So 1 minute call time or hold times versus that, it's just like, it's night and day. We want people to know that and know that we are available to help you and answer your questions. We have an extremely professional staff that can handle anything that we're throwing at them. And Denise and Robert are doing an excellent job of managing those teams to make sure that they're working as fast and as quickly and as accurately as possible. So I think everyone agrees that those improvements have been noticed throughout the agency, and as well, we hope through our license holders. So just to wrap up today, thank you again for joining us this morning. Do we have any other questions? I didn't see any more, but oh, wait. Okay. Thank you, Denise and Robert. Irene says, for the improvements, thank goodness I called earlier this week and was taken care of in a minute. That's Jacqueline.
Great.
Nice.
And customer service was much better. So thanks, Jacqueline, for saying that. It's like a nice warm hug when I hear things like that. I'm not going to lie. It feels great. It feels great. And I don't even have to deal with that much. So, I mean, it's wonderful. We really are working so hard. We hear you, we hear our license holders, and we know that it was frustrating, and we're hoping that that you never have to hear about that kind of stuff again. And going forward, you're only happy to give Trek a call and ask a question. Yes. So let's see, what else? Great job, guys. Scott Hilton says, much improved. So moving forward this next month, some of the big changes that came from the last legislative session are being implemented in September. The biggest one that you guys might be interested in hearing more about is the changes to the education structure. We're no longer licensing individual instructors anymore. So that's a big change to how our system works here at the agency. We're going to be doing coverage on that later on in September. So be sure to check out. I will post a Facebook Live when we are ready to do that. We'll probably do a much more in-depth session for some of our education providers so that they're up to date on how everything's going to be working. But we also want our individual license holders to know what they can expect from their instructors going forward, how they can provide feedback to Trek on the instructors, and how that whole new system is going to work, because it's a pretty big change and all of you are affected by that need to take education. So that's coming soon. We are continuing to improve on roll out a couple of new rules that we'll be covering in the next month or so. One of the hot topics from the last Trek meeting was the concept of pay to play. So we'll be doing an article later on this next month about that as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that one as well. So with anything else, I think we're able to wrap it up. We don't have any other questions. Commissioner Leonard said we did a great job, guys. So
Thank you.
Thank goodness that he saw that. Thanks, Commissioner Leonard. And we really appreciate everyone taking their time out of their days to join us today. It means a lot, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much. Bye.